In this video tutorial, we're going to create the dollar bills that serve as the blades for our windmill. We'll start by opening up the dollar bill file in the tutorial folder. And if we were to look closely, there is a white trim around the edge of the dollar. And I want to select the dollar bill without that, so I'm going to hit W on the keyboard. And I'm going to use my magic wand tool. I'll set the tolerance for 20. And I'll click on that white border. I'll either go to select inverse at the top of the user interface, or I'll hit Command Shift I, Command C to copy, and then I'll paste it in the destination folder. We're going to need 4 different versions of this dollar bill edited to serve as the 4 blades of our windmill. We're going to be using an inner glow to add a little bit of a shadow to the perimeter of all of these. So the first thing I'll do is I'll either go to FX at the bottom or double click on the gray of the layer, and I'm going to choose inner glow, and I'll use my eyedropper with the color picker, which appears under the word noise, and I'm going to go out and grab one of those bluish tints that appear inside the helmet of the Barack Obama character. I'll click OK, and I'm going to go down and perhaps I'll play with the size and the opacity on this. I'm going to make the size anywhere between 25 and 30, and with the opacity I'm going to make it about 55. We're going to need 4 dollar bills edited differently to serve as the blades. Now I want to adjust the levels so that it integrates into the rest of the document properly. I'll go down to the black and white cookie at the bottom of the layer window, choose levels, clicking on the white box to the left at the bottom of the properties window. I'll hold down the option key and drag on the dark value first, and I'm going to drag until I start to see some pixels of the image itself. Holding the option key still, I'll go to the light value at the far right hand side of the properties slider graph, and I'll drag it until I start to see a few red pixels. Now we're going to need 4 of these. So the levels should be put on first, because once the levels are on, I'm going to merge this down, and then we will proceed with a layer mask and editing 4 versions of this uniquely. To merge it down, I'll either hit Command E, or in the layer window in the upper right hand corner, I'll click on the horizontal lines and I'll choose Merge Down. I'm going to rename the layer the Effects, and I'm going to add a layer mask to it. Now I'm ready to edit, but we're going to need 3 other versions of this as well. So I'll right click on the gray of the layer and choose Duplicate, or I can go to Image, or I can go to Layer at the top of the user interface and choose Duplicate Layer. Or I can hit Command J on the keyboard 3 times. I'll turn off the 3 below the last generated file. I'm now going to select the layer mask and hit L on the keyboard. Our objective is to go in here and make this look like it is tattered. One of the basic tenets of design is repetition of shape. So on that note, I'm going to go around the perimeter of the dollar bill, and I'm going to cut some pieces out using my lasso tool. Hitting B on the keyboard, I'm getting my brush and editing those sections out. Now that I have the first bill cut up the way I want, I'm going to hit O on the keyboard, and I'm going to use the Dodge and Burn tool. And the Dodge and Burn tool in the option window at the top should be set for highlights, and the exposure I've dropped to 30 so I can kind of carefully and slowly burn in the effect I want. And all I'm going to do is go in and accentuate those areas that I've edited out with the layer mask. This gets pretty subjective, but I'm going to do each one of them just to make it look a little dingier. And once I've concluded the first dollar bill, I'm going to apply the layer mask. I'm going to scale this down to the proportion I want and put it into position. I'll hit Command T, and at the top of the user interface I'm going to change the scale of the height or width to 20%. I'm going to move it into position over by the windmill, rotating it and putting it where it would line up with what I've left here so that I can get the angle that I want. If you've hidden this with your layer mask, you can always re-edit that. Next, I'm going to edit the other $3 and then we'll put them into position. Once you've edited them, we'll continue. With all the dollar bills now edited and placed roughly in the position I want, I have to move the 3 that would logically be behind the building below the layer with the windmill. So I'll put on auto select or hold down Command Option and Shift, select the bill I want to move, hold down the Command key and hit the open bracket next to the letter P until it appears behind the windmill. And when you've completed that, you should have something similar to this.